Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bowen, on this evening edition of Fire of Liberty. Very unique, short, brief episode. At the same time, very complex and quantified understanding or preconceived understanding of what was already understood, with not only the major themes and factors of what's going on with the connection and connectivities in terms of how connected we already are, but the fantastic feature about exactly not only the unique intricacies and exciting points and complexities about what is, of course, not only our and everything from our intellect to our willpower to our intention to our frontier to the frontier, to heading towards the frontier, to really being committed and dedicated to a type of, path, drive, focus, and determination, in action of determination, in responsibility, and choices that are made, for example, but specifically about the fantastical nature of what actually, one of the things that actually applies to the many types of different Phoenix phenomenon and Phoenix heavenessent phenomenon in the realms and the advanced super advanced civilizations, and in the realm of consciousness and of inner out, and of course the higher consciousness and the higher developed realms, and of course the connectivity of our DNA, which is of course rising, vibrating, connecting, and unifying in more ways. And of course there's always more ways to unify than there are to separate, even though that is definitely an ability. Once again, it's because of the benevolence factor. The benevolence factor, of course, is a huge factor, and of course that factor only compounds and multiplies, and it's a very strong factor in willpower in general, in movement in general. So the spiritual side of Heavenessence, involving the realms that can be made, and the ultimate masteries of the Phoenix phenomenon, Heavenessent Phoenix phenomenon, or Phoenix Heavenessent phenomenon, and then of course that enhanced development of our ability to, for example, one of the key things and factors of what is majorly important is really seeing far into the future, and of course seeing very far. I already mentioned 2080. However, 6,000 years, 7,000 years, 8,000 years we're actually light years ahead. But it's not here to brag. So to actually help crystallize is to skip straight to the book, because okay, so here's a lot of things, and this is pretty much what's gonna happen to help, I guess, for example, prepare the mind, because it's a huge, it is indeed very subtle and indeed very complex, and at the same time very, you have there's a lot of assistance, of course, because once again, planets have gone through this evolution before. Key thing. Yes, this planet is very young. Very, very, very young. This planet is young, yes. We are... I don't even want to use the F word, but we are... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to use the F word, because it's probably not even true. Because we have the ability to, of course, be strong and recover and revive. But I want to use the F... Or not want to use the F word, but one F word that can be used is fragile. It's fragile and it's not sustainable in the terms of, well, being very positive. Or, let's just go straight to the major. Well, there's the actual abilities, concepts, and co-creative abilities, and expansions and connections, and ocean fire, and combined with the Phoenix phenomenon. And just all the equations. Lots of developments in education, intellect, the understanding of the mind and consciousness. it's a huge move out of, well, into for example, the photon belt, past the photon belt, into like literal matter of higher frequency, if that makes sense. So lots of help from, of course, higher assisted beings, or excuse me, higher assisted beings. That does make sense. Higher consciousness beings, from, well, for example, beings that have lived tens, hundreds of thousands of years, of course, while still respecting our sovereignty, and that's one of the key things, is of course recognizing our sovereignty. And I mentioned that before on this broadcast, and I'm pretty sure on other broadcasts as well. But sovereignty is a key part of. So that's what's really awesome, because we recognize, and I mentioned this on the last time's broadcast, which is super, just absolutely fantastic, and a huge major striking point of just just huge sort of wake up call, or not wake up call. That's an old term phrase, because it refers to time, and time is already, it's not relative. I mean, it is relative, but it's more. It's so fluid, and there's with the fact that we're already immortal beings, it's or at least not at least, but the spirit's memories, the action, the creation, and the development of the immortality of, for example, the planet itself, living planet. The planet's alive, and of course, the cosmos is alive. The sun is alive. The moon. Oh, actually, well, the moon's technically not made of rock. Well, maybe the stuff on the surface, but it's well, that's a whole another story. I digressed a bit. Even though, trust me, that's very, very interesting, of course, but still, I digressed. Yes, a lot of planets are going to be interacting with this planet. Yes, that's and it's going to be common, very, very, very common thing. So kind of that's like a heads up. Planets going to be moving to and from this planet, and that's going to be kind of common. Once again, lots of motherships, or lots of spacecraft, tons are going to be seen. There's thousands. There's so many. There's so many. The advancement, once again, the rate of ascension and advancement is incredibly quick, because once again, think about it, like a planet's birthday / graduation / training completion / wedding / everything. It's a huge deal, and this planet has been evolving for a very, very long time. This is a huge, and this is kind of why the spotlight is on planet Earth. It's not. It's nothing to like. And it's not confidence, it's not arrogance. We've literally made it, and we've made it this far, and we're making this, of course, crystalline planet, creative planet, ascension planet, developed planet into a higher level of consciousness. And here's the important thing, because so before I get into the important thing, so let's briefly speak about some of the things, which our quote said it'd take a while, because because here's some of the things about consciousness, which which is a very, very good thing, actually, and I quantify it as a very good thing. What I mean is, it's a simplification of a clarity understanding of the recognition of our positively level, the renaissance of that recognition of that frequency, and that term of frequency, vibration, resonance is that understanding the frequency jumping ability resonance, which can quantify into a quality matter of an exponential progressive statement of what can be that, for example, rate of, or not rate of ascension, but shine. There we go. No, even better word. I like to use the word WO, or the abbreviation of BO, willpower opulence, for a little bit of I guess, clarity of not necessarily of what opulence is, but of just the connection of connectivity. I believe that's not necessarily, I've already repeated that, connection of connectivity, but of just how that passionate, actually, what's a better word? Well, I digress. The main key point, factor, and understanding is, lots of planets have been through this before. This is an incredible, magnificent unity, ascension capability, and opportunity that, absolutely huge opportunity to really be involved with, ultimately, as interesting as it sounds, each other, no matter, because that's so, it's so much more exciting when we recognize that we have such a larger society that we're involved with. It's huge, absolutely massive, and there's so much. It is so much. Civilizations, species after species after species, huge amounts of just everything, from animals to insects to some type of some type of coagulation of in between, new sky animals, sea animals, land. There's so much, and then the languages, the form of communication, the foundations of what it is, the structures, the lifestyles, the cultures. It's all so massive, and that's what's so amazing. Of course, not to be not only an ambassador in this epic time. 2017, 21st century, moving on to even higher, extended Enlightenment age, Renaissance, ascension, with the wisdom that we are interacting with. Ultimately, this is what is happening and what is going to happen, because it's ultimately the same thing, the space family that we have contact, or star family, star children. It's the same type of, well, not same, but it's a similar type of, I need to think of a better word. Well, the importance is that we are love, light, imagination, and I love you all.